Get what we need.
And this is this week's Closet Classic.
Well, hello again, and welcome into the studios of BCAT for another airing of Vin's favorite films. And this is show number 18, and this month I'll be doing the films of Alfred Hitchcock. Given that Halloween is right around the corner, this seems to be apropos, and these films are some of the best films that Alfred Hitchcock made. Alfred Hitchcock is a very renowned director who made many great films, and these in particular are some of my favorites. They show some great cinematography, some great photographic shots that add to the suspense of the films. These are all films heavily laden with suspense and thrills, but not in the current way of doing films, which depends upon gore and makeup to give you this sense of horror. In this case, it's not really horror, but it's suspense, and these films are very cleverly done, all of them. So I hope that you're going to enjoy them as much as I did, and I hope you'll wind up getting them and viewing them at this time of the year. Now, the first film that we're going to be doing is Psycho. Psycho is a film that was made by Hitchcock in 1960. He was the producer-director, as he was with all of these films. And it stars Anthony Perkins as Norman Bates, and Marion Crane is played by Janet Leigh, and Vera Mills plays her sister, Lila Crane, and Milton Arbogast is a private detective, is played by Marty Balsam, and very well, I might add. Now, this is a very chilling tale of a deranged son of a clinging and controlling mother. And Marion Crane, the movie starts out, Marion Crane has got this boyfriend, and they have an affair in a hotel room and so forth, and then she winds up stealing some money from the company that she works for, and presumably to help her boyfriend or whatever, or get away, and she's bored in her job. And anyway, she flees, and the cops sort of are tracking her down after she looks suspicious at a stop. So anyway, she drives kind of all into the night, and it's a rainy, dark night, and she pulls into this hotel, the motel, this Bates Motel, and it turns out that the one who runs the motel is Norman Bates, Anthony Perkins, and he seems to be kind of affable and so forth, but there's a little edge to his makeup, and it's not quite clear, but you get the feeling that something is going on with him, and it turns out that he's friendly with her, but then he's a taxidermist, and they have some great shots of birds' eyes and so forth. And what happens, as we probably all know, though probably everyone has either seen or knows about this film, but what happens is that he actually murders her in a chilling scene in the shower, and no one really wants to ever take a shower after this, or looks around when they do with a shower curtain. But at any rate, he murders her, and in fact, when she falls, it turns out it's her double. They have a double for Janet Leigh in the shower, and she falls down over the shower, and you just see her eye, which looks like a bird's eye, and so that that kind of theme is going throughout the film. The interesting thing about this is that Janet Leigh dies less than halfway through the film, so this was a very unusual approach by Hitchcock, and he was a very unusual director, and picked up all sorts of things like this for his films. And in fact, it's well known that he actually makes a quick appearance, and no credits or anything. He just shows up in each of his films, just unobtrusively in a corner. In this case, he was in front of a poodles in front of a shop or whatever. And anyway, Vivien Leigh's Vivian, I keep calling her Vivian, Janet Leigh's sister starts looking for her with her boyfriend, and so they wind up tracking her down through this private detective who was played by Marty Balsam, and this next film clip will give you an idea of that confrontation of Marty Balsam with Anthony Perkins.
Marie, Marion, Samuels. Your boyfriend's name is Sam. Mm-hmm. Was she in disguise, by any chance? You want to check the picture again?
Look, I wasn't lying to you, Mr.
Oh, I know that. I know you wouldn't lie.
You know, it's tough keeping track of the time around.
Oh, I know.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was raining, and her hair was all wet. I tell you, it's not really a very good picture, really.
No, I guess not. Now, tell me all about her.
Well, she arrived rather late one night, and she went straight to sleep and left early the next morning.
Well, how early?
Oh, very early.
Mm-hmm. Which morning was that?
The next morning, Sunday.
I see. Mm-hmm. Did anyone meet her here?
No.
Did she arrive with anyone?
No.
Uh-huh. Did she make any phone calls or
No.
locally? Did you spend the night with her?
No.
Well, then, how would you know that she didn't make any phone calls?
Oh, well, she was very tired, and see, now I'm starting to remember it. I'm making a mental picture of it in my mind. You know, if you make a mental picturization of something.
That's right. Take the time.
She was sitting back there. No, she was standing back there with a sandwich in her hand, and she said she had to go to sleep early because she had a long drive ahead of her.
Mm-hmm. Back where?
Back where she came from.
No, you said before that she was sitting back there. Standing.
Yes, but back in my parlor there. She was very hungry, and I made her a sandwich. And then she said that she was tired, and she had to go right to bed.
Oh, I see. How did she pay you? Cash, check?
Cash.
Cash, huh? Mm-hmm. And after she left, she didn't come back?
Mm. Well, why should she?
Well, that scene is a really interesting one, and if you notice the really intense black and white photography there, it enhances the imagery of the suspense and the mystery of this film. And actually, it turns out Norman Bates, dressed up as his mother, who has actually died, and he's keeping her in this hotel at the top of the hill next to the motel, not in his house at the top of the hill next to the motel, and so he dresses up and as the mother and kills the investigator also. There is a musical score. There's a very chilling musical score in this movie also that again adds to this intense thrill and chilling nature of the film. At the end, there's a scene which is quite interesting where a psychiatrist, after they catch Norman Bates trying to kill the sister, Janet Leigh's sister, he explains that what's happened is that Norman Bates has this guilt where he kills his mother in a rage when she's with some boyfriend, and so he takes on the persona of the mother and her voice and everything like that, and that is very fascinating in the film. So this film was nominated for like 6 Academy Awards. The interesting thing is that the only win in terms of one of the actors or actresses for Janet Leigh as Best Supporting Actor, but it was a Golden Globe Award. But I mean, the fact that she got and Anthony Perkins didn't get anything, and he was magnificent in this film, is rather surprising. But in 1998, it got a win for, was on the list of the 100 greatest American films by the American Film Institute. So now we go on to the next film, which is The Birds. This was done in 1963, again produced and directed by Alfred Hitchcock. It's based on a short story by Daphne du Maurier. And it stars Rod Taylor as Mitch Brenner, Tippi Hedren as Melanie Daniels, Jessica Tandy as Lydia Brenner, Mitch's mother, and Suzanne Pleshette as Annie Hayworth. And in the beginning of the film, there's a romantic triangle with Tippi Hedren and Pleshette and Taylor. And Tippi Hedren goes to visit Taylor at his place in Bodega Bay in San Francisco. She rows out to this place, and in the process, there's a bird, a seagull that comes by and sort of goes past her head and gives her a little peck, and has a little bit of blood coming out of it. And so nothing seems too much about that. But pretty soon there's some very curious behavior by the birds in Bodega Bay, and there seems to be no explanation as to what's happening. In fact, there's an interesting scene where there's a kind of a quirky ornithologist, and they're at a restaurant, and she's there trying to explain their behavior, and she plays a cute little part. Another interesting feature of this movie is that again, Hitchcock seems to bring in all of his movies some very interesting cinematography or artistic choices in the movies. And in this one, there's no music, and all you have in the background is the sound of clacking birds and seagulls, crows, and whatever. And the birds are sort of orchestrated almost to sound like music, so that's rather interesting. And this next scene sort of gives you an idea of how this film begins to generate some suspense.
Little right, children. Now, please put your songbooks away, then stand up alongside your desks. We'll go out to recess as soon as everybody gets ready. We are not going into the playground until everybody has quieted down.
Well, I did mention that there was no music in this. There was the singing of the school children is, you know, a form of music, but it actually sets up that scene extremely well. It's sort of a very quiet with that in the background, and that the foreboding thing of the birds gathering on that play jungle gym or whatever is pretty foreboding. And what happens after that is that birds begin attacking fiercely. First they attack the school children and so forth, and you know, when Tippi Hedren goes back with Taylor and his mother at the house, they come in and start fiercely coming in the chimneys and the doors and windows, and the scenes are very dramatic, and in fact, the cinematography is incredible of these bird attacks. Hitchcock used 371 trick shots in this film, and in fact, they got an award for the best visual effects in the movie. It's really extremely well done, and again, Hitchcock shows up as a man outside a pet shop and in the background. And the other award that was given as a win was the Best New Star of the Year for Tippi Hedren. And again, this was in 1963. It was a Golden Globe Award. And this film, again, is one of Hitchcock's really classic films, not to be missed. So I recommend that you get this one as well. Now, finally, we have Vertigo, and Vertigo was done in 1958. Again, produced, directed by Alfred Hitchcock. Very, very interesting film. It's got a great music score in it. It was composed by Bernard Herrmann, and James Stewart plays John Scotty Ferguson, and Kim Novak plays Madeline Elster, as well as Judy Barton. And Barbara Bel Geddes plays Marjorie Wood. And then Tom Helmore plays a part as Gavin Elster. Now this film is, again, it turns out that this stated to be one of Hitchcock's favorite films. It's a very, very intricate tale of suspense, and it weaves and weaves the story back and forth. It starts out where Scotty is a police detective, and he is chasing someone and jumps onto another roof and almost falls off, and is hanging on by his hands hanging down from the roof, way down above the street, and so now a policeman tries to rescue him, and he reaches over to try to get him, but he falls off the roof, and it's really a blow to Scotty, and he really goes into a funk over the fact that this detective has died, and begins to discover that he has vertigo, fear of heights, absolute fear of heights. And although he tries to conquer it, he backs off on his job as a detective. And however, a friend of his, a college friend of his, contacts him and tells him about his wife, who is acting very strangely and seems to have some sort of a mental problem, and he wants Scotty, who's been a detective, to follow his wife and see what's going on. Well, he begins to do this. He agrees to do this, and he follows her. And of course, she's very beautiful. It's Kim Novak, who's a gorgeous actress, and he follows her around. And eventually, there's one scene where he follows her to the foot of the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, where she apparently either falls or is throwing herself in, and he jumps in and rescues her. And after that, he gets together with her, he takes her to his apartment, and helps her dry her clothes and all this, and begins to fall in love with her, and he falls in love with her quite seriously. And as they go, I mean, she's acting sort of weird and whatever, and as they go along, she takes him to some old mission where she's had some dreams or something, and in the process, she goes up these stairs, and of course he can't go all the way up the stairs. It's a long, winding stairway, and because of his vertigo, he's frightened to go all the way up. And she goes up to the top, and eventually, apparently, falls off and is apparently killed. Well, it turns out that he is devastated by her death, since he was really in love with her. And so he's completely devastated. He goes into a real obsessive funk, and he is, he's really almost catatonic, and by this loss. And so finally, he sees someone who looks like her, somewhat like her, somewhat like Madeline, and he begins to follow her. And of course, it's Kim Novak playing that part. As Judy Barton now, and he follows her, and it turns out that he really wants. He thinks it's actually Madeline, and which in reality it is, but he actually wants her to, and of course she's fallen in love with him in the process, and so she wants. He wants her to look exactly like Madeline, so he finally kind of convinces her to change her looks. He buys her a dress, a suit, that Madeline was wearing at the time. He has her hair done. In this case, Judy had the hair sort of dark brown and so forth, and now he wants her to have it strong blonde, tied up in a bun and so forth, and gets her to do that. And she looks, of course, exactly like Madeline. And so they're in love and so on. But he notices that what happens is that she's wearing a clip of, a former wife of Elster. And so he begins to get some suspicion. So if we can have the next scene, we'll get an idea of this vertigo situation and
running up the tower. Right here. See, she was running up the stairs and through the trap door at the top of the tower. And I tried to follow her, but I couldn't get to the top. I tried, but I couldn't get to the top. One doesn't often get a second chance. I want to stop being haunted. You're my second chance, Judy. You're my second chance.
Take me away.
You look like Madeline now. Go up the stairs.
No.
Go up the stairs. Go up the stairs, Judy. And I'll follow. As far as I could get, but you went on. You remember? The necklace, Madeline. That was the slip. I remembered the necklace.
We don't.
Oh, we're going up the tower, Madeline.
You can't. You're afraid.
Now, we'll see. We'll see. This is my second chance. But you knew that day that I wouldn't be able to follow.
Well, that film, sequence is toward the very end of the film, and it's fascinating how it winds up. And I won't reveal that because if you haven't seen it, you will really enjoy that ending. And the film, as I said, weaved its story back and forth very intricately and drew the audience, draws the audience right into it, and it's makes for an excellent film. It's sort of, as time went on, this was considered one of his best films, and as I said, one that he liked the most. You'll notice that in that clip, the fact is that although the film is in color, that scene again, he chooses almost black and white to enhance, and dark shadows and so forth to enhance the suspense and so forth of the film. This is a film that was nominated for 5 Academy Awards, and it also was placed in 1998. Was also placed on the 100 Greatest American Films by the American Film Festival. Again, it's a film that you must see, and as I stated before, this is around Halloween time. These are 3 films to be seen, perhaps in preference to these kind of gory hatchet type enhanced costume type movies where you've got great acting, great photography, and super suspense without incredible gore, which makes these such interesting films for me. I love, as you know, the films which have great acting performances, great music to enhance it, great cinematography. All of these features that and a tremendous storyline, which all of these features. So. These are filmed. Once again, I remind you that you can rent these films at the library, which in fact I did to get these clips, and they are films that are. Alfred Hitchcock is truly a genius. I mean, all of his films. He has a huge host of films. He was an English, born in England, and came to America and began to produce over a long period of time some magnificent films that are very well regarded and are highly awarded, and Hitchcock actually wound up with a show on radio, which the Alfred Hitchcock Hour, where he did all sorts of mysteries, and tongue-in-cheek, he also has a great sense of humor. So these films are totally enjoyable and are films that I would highly recommend that you get. So until next time, we'll be doing another show, and I look forward to meeting you all again.